Hi everyone, my name is Natalie and this is my buddy Duke. And today I want to go over a really great skill to have. It's a command, leave it. So leave it's really valuable to have in your repertoire with your dog for a lot of reasons. Leave it's a great command to have in case you drop something you don't want your dog to eat, or maybe you're out for a walk and your dog sees something really gross that you don't want him to have. You can use the word for your dog to essentially ignore or leave alone the item that you want him to leave alone. So I'm going to go over the steps on how to teach your dog leave it with Duke today. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get some treats in my hand. So leave it's going to be a two-part process. One is going to be the word leave it, and the other one's going to be a release word, which is okay. And that's going to tell the dog that he can have what you want him to leave alone after you decide that it's okay. What I'm first going to do is put some really yummy, smelly treats in my hand and make a closed fist. I'm going to give Duke an opportunity to lay down, and then as you can see, I'm just going to place it in front of him and wait for him to kind of back off. We've done this once or twice, so he's picking up on it quickly. Once I see that he's left the food alone for a moment, I'm going to pause, and then I'm going to let him have it. I'm going to do this a couple of times before I introduce the actual verbal command, leave it. And the reason for doing this is just like any behavior, the word doesn't have any meaning to the dog yet. So Duke doesn't know what the words leave it mean just yet. After we go over this a couple of times and he starts to pick up on what I am asking of him, I'm going to introduce the verbal command. So, let's do it again, buddy. So I'm going to take some treats, put it in the palm of my hand, closed fist, place it in front of the dog, and I'm just going to wait on him. Okay. Good boy. Okay, I've gone over this with Duke once before, so he's pretty familiar with what I'm trying to get to. Be patient with your dog. It might take 30, 40, 50 seconds, maybe even a little more than a minute for him to or her to finally give up and leave alone the treat that's in your hand. So just be patient. So you can see Duke's ignoring it now. He stopped pawing at it and muzzling it. So I'm opening my hand and giving him the treat. So now that we've done this a couple of times and once before this video, I'm going to start to introduce the actual command. You're going to notice that when I use the verbal command, I'm going to really enunciate my words. I'm going to make sure that I sound it out clearly. So it's all about tone with dog. I don't have to be loud or yell or anything like that. I really want to enunciate what I'm teaching though when I use a verbal command. So let's do this again. Treats in the palm, closed fist. Leave it. Okay, good boy. So you can see what I did there was, once Duke paused and started to ignore the food in my hand, I gave a little bit of a time frame there. Maybe it was 2 seconds. Then I introduced the word leave it and enunciated it very clearly, and then opened my hand and gave the release word okay, indicating to Duke that it was okay for him to eat the food. So let's do it again. I'm going to use the verbal commands, leave it, and okay for the release word. So, food in my palm, closed fist, in front of the dog. So his muzzle's still touching my hand, which isn't a bad thing, but I'm just going to wait a little bit longer for him to back off it just a little bit more. So he's really close to my hand, but he's not touching it. I'm going to move away just a little bit. He's still technically ignoring the food. He's not muzzle punching or pawing at me. Leave it. Okay, good boy. As time goes on and you practice the skill a little bit more with your dog, you can stretch out that time frame a little longer. Get them to leave it for 4 seconds, then 6 seconds, 7 seconds, 8 seconds. Once you start to achieve a little more fluency with it, then you can start practicing it again in another room. Another important part of dog training is practicing in different areas. So right now we're in the living room. In order to make this an ingrained behavior for Duke, I would want to practice this also in my kitchen, maybe in a bedroom, in a hallway, and then build to areas with more distractions. Dogs are contextual learners, which means that they learn in different situations based on the environment. So in the wild, a dog would assess whether it's safe to perform a behavior based on if there's predators around, is there an open space, is there somewhere to hide, and things like that. So if you only teach your dog a behavior in your living room, they will be really unsure of performing the behavior if you're maybe outside in front of your house. So it's the old adage like, oh, he sits all the time when I ask him to do it at home. You gotta also practice these things in other places. So right now I'm practicing this command in a house with very minimal distractions. There's minimal noise, there's no other dogs, there's not a lot of things to distract Duke. I want to set up my dog for success when I'm training him and make sure that he's going to be able to achieve his goals, build his confidence, and then be able to add in some more challenges like performing the behavior in a setting where there's maybe another human, more noise, a bicycle going by, things of that nature. So let's do it one more time and then we'll be done for today. I'm going to put my fist down. He's not even touching it at all. Leave it. Okay, good boy, Duke. So dogs are really smart. They're going to pick up, especially once they're rewarded for the behavior, on what it is that you're asking of them. And you can see in this last clip here, the last trial of doing Leave It, I put my fist down and Duke didn't even bother sniffing it because he knew the behavior that I'm looking for is actually ignoring the food. And then that's where the reward comes from. So good job, buddy. Good boy, Duke. Good boy. Started with you with my shoes, huh, buddy? Good boy. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you guys learned a lot. Make sure to subscribe and like. Have a good one.